So underway with our second heat here. And we have Brodie Duncan in the white, black and flashes of yellow, West Lothian Clarion. Young rider on the Scottish programme. And then in the blue suit, black helmet, white bike, that's Logan Maclean. Multiple Scottish champion on the track and the road. And Logan's one we've really got our eye on this evening. So with Glasgow 2026 on the horizon, he's already got a couple of qualifying marks. And so the important thing for tonight for Logan is to post a timed mark. So he's more known for his bunch racing. So going against the clock here, and those marks that he's looking for. So 4:26.021 or better would mean he's ticked all the boxes he needs to be eligible for selection for Team Scotland for the aforementioned Commonwealth Games next year. And meanwhile, an A standard, just for reference, is 4:16.020. So they pass through 1,000 metres. As we see Brodie Duncan, so he's high up on the red line. He'll be wanting to try and hold the black line a little bit more if he can. And there goes Logan in hot pursuit. And this obviously super helpful for Logan to have a rider like Brodie up in front. He's a quality rider, is the youngster Duncan from West Lothian Clarion. But he's that perfect carrot for Maclean to chase after and try and actually now get into the slipstream. So if he can get into the same straight as his young rival, he will get significant advantage as he chases that mark that we talked to. So 4:26.021 is what he's after. And he's doing a fantastic job of it. He's 2:10.92 at the 2,000 metre mark. So he's well on track for that as things stand. Obviously standing start, taking that into account. And we know from his road pedigree that he has plenty of endurance, does the man from Stirling. And he's coming up to make the catch already, as you see, right into the slipstream of Duncan, and round he goes. We look at his position, head on, a very low frontal area he's breaking the wind with. So he's obviously been working on that position. He's been training regularly on the boards here over the last few months with the Scottish cycling programme, fine-tuning his technique and his position. And similarly with Duncan, so he's one of his training partners. And you can see he's a little bit more ragged as Brodie, but he's still holding a pretty good position. Shoulders rolled in nicely. And he's got that big aero helmet on. As we see now, Logan just powering away. He looks really solid on the bike. And he's going to be delighted with this performance, I think, if he can hold it together over the last 750 metres. So round we go. Coming off that bend and through 3,500 metres, 3:44 on the clock as he passes through with 2 laps to go. Down the back straight, head tucked. And now it's about really squeezing. Yes, there's some final rides to come, but he's come here with one goal in mind, and that is to tick off this Commonwealth Games qualifying standard in the 4,000 metre pursuit. And he's coming off the final bend. And that's a 4:15.8. So he goes inside the A standard, does Logan Maclean. And I can see down the back straight, he's punching the air, and he's very, very happy with that. Having spoke to Logan over the last 6 months or so, the Commonwealth Games has been a massive, massive target of him. He's switched his focus from the road to the track. He's forgone some of the road races last summer to get in more track races because he hasn't done a whole heap over the last few years. But the effort and focus he's been putting into his track work is clearly paying off, because that is a fantastic ride. We knew he had calibre in the bunch races, and he was out in Europe picking up some quality results just last weekend. But there were admittedly question marks over his ability against the clock in an individual pursuit. But Any doubts have been expelled with that effort. So inside that Commonwealth Games A standard. Fantastic stuff, and what a start to day one, the first evening session of the Scottish National Track Championships. So just to give you an idea of Logan's form over the last few months, so ticked off his first qualifying standard for Glasgow with a second place in the Omnium at the Prague Summer C1 track meet in August. And then, like I said, just last weekend he was out at the 4 days of Geneva, where he took second in the scratch, along with some solid Madison performances. So he came into this meet here on his home track in Glasgow, just wanting to get that qualification time notched up in the pursuit, which he's done in fine style, I have to say. I think there was confidence based on his training that he could notch up that B standard, which would have been enough to suitably tick all boxes and be eligible for qualification. But he's gone inside the A standard, so that's absolutely fantastic stuff. Okay, underway with heat 3 of 6 here. So we've got from Team Hoob in that pink, blue and black kit on screen there is Phillip Cambell. And then in the orange helmet, navy blue skin suit, we've got Aitor Altuna. And I've been told that Aitor is a newcomer to track racing. So great to see him here at the Scottish Champs, testing his ability against some quality riders. So Cambell leads as they go through 1,000 metres, a quarter distance. He was 1:12 there as he passed through the line. And he is starting to make inroads into his opponent Altuna. As you can see from that shot, entering the same straight now. And as Logan did in the previous ride, he's going to start to take advantage of a bit of a slipstream effect. Really nice tight position from Cambell, which is what you'd expect, to be honest, from a rider who is representing Hoob Watchshop. They are known for their technological advancements. Some of the pioneers of the sport have come through that setup. The likes of Dan Bigham and former Team Scotland rider Johnny Whale as well. And someone still wearing those colours today, John Archibald, who we know well, and obviously represented Team Scotland in the last couple of games. But this time it's his teammate Cambell, who's putting out a good performance here in Glasgow. But hats off to Altuna. This is a great effort for somebody new to the sport. Pursuiting is a fine art, really, when you look at combining raw power and ability that you have to build up through weeks, months and years of training, and then you try and match that with a super slippery position, getting really nice and tight on the bike and braking as little air as you possibly can. And you look at that big orange POC aero helmet, and that's obviously designed to just funnel the air as best as possible. And now we look at the pass. So Cambell coming up around the outside, and it wasn't perfect timing, if we're honest, just having to go the long way around that banking. But it's a nice clean manoeuvre. Through he goes, and he will now start to just extend his advantage. We're into the final 750 metres now. Cambell from Altuna in Heat 3 of the open 4 kilometre individual pursuit here at the Scottish Championships. It's 3:58 at 3,500 metres. And there's been a resurgence from Altuna, who's come back past Cambell, who looks like he's starting to tie up a little bit here. Anyway, he's taken the bell. Remember, Altuna's a lap down. Or half a lap, should I say.
So Phillip Campbell stopping the clock in 4:33. Aitor Altuna.
So it's 4:33 for Cambell as he crossed the line, with Altuna 4:41. Great effort there from both of those guys, and you can see Cambell just absolutely emptying himself. Which is what you've got to do if you want to be competing at this level and try and put yourself in a position to qualify for the finals later on. So it's International Volunteers Day today, and I want to give a big shout out to everybody who's volunteering to make these Scottish Track Championships happen, and also every other bit of cycling activity throughout the whole year, whether you're involved with club activity, whether it's coaching, marshalling at events, whether you're a timekeeper, an official, whatever your role, even if it's just mum and dad, taxiing riders around. Whether you're cooking meals, massaging riders, whatever your role in the sport, I'd just like to say on behalf of the Scottish cycling community a big thank you for everything you do, and the sport would not happen without you. We can see just on screen now some of those volunteers. We've got officials, we've got people setting up the start gates, and coaches in the background too. So quick introduction for these two riders. Top of the screen, Ben Gibson, PB Performance in the black skin suit. And on the bottom of your screen, Andy Bruce from Vanelli Project Go. So Bruce looks like he's on a massive gear there. Really struggling to get over the top of it in the first few metres. But for those who follow Scottish track cycling, you'll know that Andy is an experienced campaigner. He's one of the oldest, if not the oldest, in this field, but he's also one of the classiest riders in the field. And just last year, he broke the Scottish hour record with a fantastic ride here on the boards of the Sir Chris Hoy Velodrome. So yes, he's pushing a big gear, and he made a slightly slow start out of the gate, but he knows exactly what he's doing. And I expect him to come home super strong in this one, so no pressure, Andy. Yeah, those Vanelli Project Go colours. The red blue and navy blue are colours we will see to the fore across this weekend of track racing. Big supporters of the Scottish track scene are that team, regularly seen at Friday night track leagues here in Glasgow, but also supporting the various Scottish championships, British championships, and for riders like Andy heading off to compete in the World and European Masters wherever they are year in, year out. So we've got a tight race on our hands here at the moment. Just 1.2 seconds separating the pair. Bruce does lead, but Gibson, a young rider who I believe was also part of the Vanelli Project Go setup before progressing on to race for PB Performance, who are an East Midlands based outfit, but kind of a well-established now under 23 development team. So we've got the veteran versus the under 23. So far it's a nice matchup. So 2:21 and 2:22 are the marks for Bruce and Gibson as we pass through the halfway mark. So it's still early doors here at the Scottish Champs, but we're already being treated to some quality racing. If you're just joining us in the second heat of these Open 4K individual pursuits, Logan Maclean went inside the Team Scotland Glasgow 2026 Commonwealth Games standard. And now we're witnessing a fantastic matchup between Andy Bruce of Vanelli Project Go and Ben Gibson from PB Performance. So Bruce starting to make inroads into Gibson now. And this contest looks to be going away from the youngster. As I predicted, Bruce showing his strength in the closing stages. You don't break the Scottish hour record without having bags of strength. So here we go then. Into the last lap of racing. Bruce, head down. He's going to give it one last drive for the line. He's going to finish on the far side of the track. And there he goes through the line. 4:38.9. Gibson across, stopping the clock in 4:43.8. So another couple of strong rides there from Andy Bruce and Ben Gibson. So our next two riders making their way up onto the track. Both in black, but thankfully we've got some slightly different helmets and different overshoes to help us pick out who's who. So on screen there on the left, the red stripe down his helmet is Matti Dobbins. And just out of shot on the, well, now on the bottom of your screen, Calum Moir. Away they go first time. Moir, a powerful athlete, races extremely well over the kilo. It's a measured start actually. You might expect him to go tearing out of the blocks, but he's kept his composure so far. And it's Dobbins who leads just by a few tenths of a second. Take a look at Moir there. Rock solid on the bike. So coming up to we pan round and see Moir again, just coming off the bank into the home straight here in Glasgow.
Okay, next up the last.
And there's Dobbins in hot pursuit. The red stripe down his helmet. He means business tonight.
Please. And 85 Ben Marsh to the back straight. Tim to the home straight. And Ben to the back straight, please.
Dobbins still slightly up. And we're going to try and take a look at their split at 2,000 metres. 2:14 for Dobbins, 2:16 for Moir. Dobbins is a name that's been around the Scottish track and road scene for quite a while. He was actually the 2022 Scottish Road Race Champion, but has now switched nationality and is riding for Ireland. Whereas Moir is a young rider with bags of potential. Younger brother of Iona. Who's already represented Team Scotland at the Commonwealth Games in the sprint events. Moir has himself been to the Commonwealth Youth Games for Team Scotland, picking up a handful of medals there. But he's coming up against stiff opposition tonight, with Dobbins closing in as we look at them down the back straight there, and they're coming round the bend and into the home straight. And yeah, Moir's definitely starting to tire, and Dobbins is really on the charge now. And this is going to be quick from Dobbins. Look at the gap he has put into Moir already. And it shows that looks can be deceiving sometimes, because Moir is rock solid on the bike. But it's Dobbins, despite that little bit of a rock and a roll, who is applying absolutely bags of pressure through the pedals. And let's see what his time is as he comes up to the line. 4:23.52. A quality ride there from Matti Dobbins. And I'm afraid I'm unsure what the Irish qualifying marks are. I don't have those to hand, I'm afraid, but I would imagine that's a pretty strong ride, and he'll be obviously not looking at Commonwealth Games, but looking at something like the European Championships potentially. Moir, 4:41.6 is his time. So yeah, really, really strong ride there from Dobbins, 4:23. A reminder, Logan Maclean quickest at the moment with a 4:15.8. One final qualifying heat to come, and that will feature none other than Tim Shoreman, who is a rider we've got our eyes on as well tonight for a quick time. Similarities to Logan Maclean in that he has been Scottish Road Champion, but he also has plenty of pedigree on the track. Been to the European Under-23 Championships representing Great Britain in the past. He's now a fully fledged senior, balancing a full-time job up in the northeast of Scotland with his cycling pursuits. And the pursuit in question tonight is over 4 kilometres. So the green cards are up. Final heat of the Open 4K individual pursuit qualifying here at the Scottish National Track Championships. Underway, first time. And just to introduce the other rider, the graphic's not quite updated yet, but we've got Ben Marsh in that black skin suit with the white helmet. And there's Shoreman in the lime green of Wheelbase Cabtech Castelli. So there we go, Ben Marsh, you can see that on screen now. He comes through in the black, riding for Beeston CC. So we've already seen one Beeston rider in these first heats tonight. And now we've got another one in Ben Marsh. He comes down the home straight. And there's Shoreman. Big, powerful figure. So for him, it's all about getting as aero as he possibly can. He'll have worked really hard on that position, I've no doubt. And as you can see, he's got a nice flat back. Rolling in his shoulders and trying to be as low profile as he can, which, believe me, he's a big rider. And so, yeah, that's not easy. And he started really, really quickly. Has Shoreman. And so is Marsh. So if the data I'm getting is correct, Shoreman is currently the quickest rider at this point in any of the heats, and Marsh third quickest. So yeah, you look at the pictures on screen and Shoreman's catching Marsh pretty quickly, and that would make you quite naturally jump to the conclusion that Marsh isn't on a good ride, but he is. He's pressing on nicely. So we keep an eye on Shoreman now. He's going to come up to the halfway mark this time. 2:09.9. And that puts him fractionally quicker than Maclean was. So are we going to see another Commonwealth Games A standard here? This would be absolutely remarkable. 2 in the first opening event if Shoreman can keep going like this. He's passed Marsh. Another smooth overtake. So these riders showing each other plenty of respect, which is good to see. As Shoreman comes off the bend and into the straight. And Marsh's job now is to just settle into his own effort. Try and use that marker of Shoreman in front of him and keep driving forward because he's on a good ride. He's 4th quickest from all the heats so far. So can he use the slipstream effect that Shoreman's given him to his advantage? So coming up to 3,000 metres, 3:11.0. Evan Oliphant there, Tim's coach, barking instructions from the sidelines, and he's going to be delighted with what he's seeing. So Shoreman is on track for a Commonwealth Games mark. He's going to be well inside the B standard, but can he notch up the A standard? And the way things are going, he is on track to do that. Remember, Maclean in Heat 2 has already achieved that mark, just squeezing inside 4:16, and Shoreman is up on that time at the moment. So he's 3:41 at 3,500 metres. And as I said, Marsh still on a great ride. He's currently 4th quickest as things stand. But it's Shoreman coming off the curve, and he takes the bell. We've got live timing on the screen now, 3:57 with 1 lap of the track to go. He's powering down the back straight. He's barely moved on the bike. What a fantastic effort, putting out all that power right the way through to the line. And look at that, 4:13.3. What a ride, Tim Shoreman.
So really impressive ride there with Tim Shoreman.
I'm going to keep an eye on Marsh. He's coming up to his finish line down the back straight. 4:27.9. So Marsh, 4th quickest. Really good ride from the youngster as well. So we've saved our best to last there, ladies and gents, in that final heat, with Shoreman going quickest and Marsh 4th quickest. What a treat. 2 Glasgow 2026 qualifying marks already this evening. So just a reminder of that time for Shoreman, 4:13.304. And that A standard for the open riders, 4:16.020. So I'll try and bring you the qualifiers as we get them, but I can provisionally confirm that the gold medal ride later on this evening will be between Tim Shoreman of Wheelbase Cabtech Castelli and Logan Maclean, the private member from Stirling. I believe the ride for bronze will be between Matti Dobbins, who rides for Edinburgh Bike Fit, and Ben Marsh from Beeston CC, who was in that last head-to-head against Shoreman. So I will confirm that officially in due course, but it looks like it'll be Shoreman versus Maclean going for gold later on this evening.
Kayla to the back straight now, please, as a matter of some urgency.
So I've just had a message through from former Scottish cycling president Kathy Gilchrist saying she can't wait for this women's matchup after witnessing what the men just did. And yeah, we've got a pretty special lineup in the women's event. You thought the men's was good. Well, wait till you see what we've got to follow. And if I was a betting man, I'd say there's more qualification marks for those Glasgow 2026 games to come. 2 men's standards achieved in that open event. But now we turn our attention to the female race. So female 4-kilometre individual pursuit. Heat 1 about to go. Underway cleanly on the left of shot, Victoria Smith, or Vicky as she's known to most, in that kind of grey coloured skin suit. And then in the white and purple now on screen, Kayla Dinnin. So Vicky leads at the second checkpoint. Very early days so far, but the aero coach rider just edging in front of Dinnin, who rides for Live Cycling Club Halo Films. She's in the white and purple. A young rider, part of the Scottish cycling programme. So it's still early doors in this one, but Smith leads from Dinnin. Felt like a little cheeky glance across the track from Dinnin there to see where her rival was.
Next up, Heat 2 in the female IP. Can we have on the home straight rider 17, Erin Boothman, and on the back straight rider 15, Arabella Blackburn. Erin to the home straight, Arabella to the back straight now, please.
So next time through the line on the back straight for Smith, we will get a 2,000 metre mark. She's 2:36, although that clock looked like it just ticked over, so I think I might have missed that one. Apologies. But this is a new event for our female riders. Great to see the UCI upgrading from 3 kilometres to 4 kilometres. We always want to see parity between our open and female categories, and that's what we've now got here at the Scottish Championships. So Smith still leading the way. Here she comes again, down the home straight. Dinnin's holding things together well though here. It's a strong ride from the young rider. Head down, and there comes Smith. She's almost into the slipstream now. So we come around. With 3 laps to go. And the catch might be on here for Smith. She might run out of track, especially because it doesn't appear to me like Dinnin's fading. She's holding a strong tempo. She's getting plenty of encouragement from her coach, Lucia Steele, who's there in shot on the far side of the track, urging her on. As Smith takes the bell. Down the back straight now for one final time. Dinnin with Smith closing in. But I don't think she's quite going to get there before the line. Comes wide. Stops the clock. 5 flat, 0.759. Here comes Dinnin up to the line on the far side of the track. She stops the clock at 5:10, 0.317. Good ride from both ladies there.
Next up, Erin and Arabella.
Now this is a contest I am very much looking forward to. Two world-class junior talents getting strapped in, ready to go against the clock and against one another. So, in the purple, riding for Liv J. Kolula development team, Erin Boothman. And on the far side of the track, in the black and green of Shibden Apex, is Arabella Blackburn. Off we go. Big pulls from both of those young ladies as they set out on a 4-kilometre pursuit. So these two have been teammates throughout this summer season just gone, riding for Great Britain as part of the junior setup that won the world title in the team pursuit and also broke a world record in that same event at the European Championships. So they're no strangers to competing at the very top end of the sport. And now they're going head to head, which they've done before at British level. As you see, Evan Oliphant just pacing out the mark there, which is what some of the riders use to pace their effort. So Oliphant will move up and down the track just to give Boothman an indication of how she's getting on. And that will most likely be against the clock. She'll have a pacing schedule that she's working to, I'm sure. And Ev will be making sure he does what he can to help her stay on track. So Boothman up at the moment, but it's close. So Arabella, a multi-discipline rider. Last winter she was racing cyclocross for Great Britain. Went to the World Championships in the junior category. She's been part of the GB Junior Women's squad at a number of international road races this year. And as I mentioned, she's been part of the GB track setup too. So multidiscipline rider of many, many talents. But she's going up against a multiple-time World Junior champion here in the form of Boothman. And as we can see, Boothman is starting to make inroads. Obviously, they started on opposite sides of the track. And we've been keeping our eye on the clock in the open races. And we're going to do exactly that here in the female category, especially as Boothman continues to pour it on. Now, this is a pretty monumental effort.
So next up, heat 3 on the home straight. Can we have 113 Kate Richardson?
Oliphant's happy, points to the mark as she passes through. So just for reference point here, I'm going to read out some marks for you. So the Scottish national record, as I said, this is a new distance for these ladies. It's been moved up from 3 kilometre to 4 kilometre, so not many marks against the 4 kilometre distance, but the Scottish national record is 4:52.295. And my colleague Alex Marr reliably informs me that that's Lauren Dixon who holds that record, and she's gone on to World Tour status now on the road. And we're also looking at some Commonwealth Games standards. So the B standard, 4:53.4. And the Commonwealth Games A standard for these ladies, 4:42.5. So we're inside the last kilometre. Boothman looking absolutely majestic here. So 4:02 at 3,500 metres. And this is going to be quick. Blackburn still on a good ride, no doubt about that. Takes the bell, now does Boothman. And this looks like it's going to be a new Scottish record. She's turning it on down the back straight there, as you can see. Coming off the bend. Look at the clock. 4:34. What a ride. Smashes the Scottish record, smashes the Commonwealth Games A standard. Hats off, Erin Boothman. Fantastic stuff. And we're going to keep our eyes on Arabella Blackburn as well, because this is a really strong ride from Blackburn. And she comes across the line in 4:57.2. So she's only just shy of the Scottish record and that Commonwealth Games B standard. But it's Boothman who does the business. Commonwealth Games A standard, and we have a new Scottish record. Fantastic stuff.
Open team sprint qualifications, but we'll just take a short break to do some resetting. So if you are taking part in the open team sprint qualification, then keep listening.
And that was only the second heat of 3. Our 2 junior riders putting on quite the display. So it's worth referencing the roots to this success for those 2 young riders. So both Boothman and Blackburn have come through the Scottish cycling programme, and then onto the GB setup. And Erin as well, supported by the Braveheart charity, who do a number of fundraising events through the year to provide funds to allow young riders to flourish and fulfill their potential, supporting them with training opportunities, equipment costs, etc. So yeah, if you like what you see and you want to support the next generation of stars, pop the Braveheart Cycling Charity into your search engine and donate if you can. It's Kate Richardson there on the left of shot. She's another Braveheart rider. She's going here for Handling Albert. And on the right hand side of your screen, you've got Jenny Holl for Loughborough Lightning. a big weave there from Holl onto the Côte d'Azur, and she straightens up. So Jenny, a graduate of Stirling Bike Club, has gone on to tremendous success as part of the GB Paralympic programme. She pilots usually for Sophie Unwin, and they've won Commonwealth. Beg your pardon. They've won Paralympic titles, track and road. But Jenny is a classy bike rider in her own right. She's won British senior titles on the track, so we expect to see a strong ride from her today. And Kate Richardson as well. She's been a GB protagonist, competing at European under-23 level, and she's now on the cusp of breaking into the senior squad for the Team Pursuit. And it is that rider Richardson who is up on Holl at the moment, as you can see from that shot. Holl just disappears around the curve, but Richardson coming into the same straight. So Richardson started like an absolute train here. It's always interesting. It's always interesting to know what pacing strategies the riders have adopted. Something obviously we're not privy to. Some like to go out hard and try and hold on, whereas others will go for a more measured approach, making sure they finish really strongly in that final kilometre of racing. Yeah, it's Richardson who is pouring it on. And there she is into the home straight. So Richardson 2:22 at the halfway mark. And just contrasting that, Boothman was a little bit quicker in that second of the three heats. So I'll try and keep you up to date with how those two compare. Holl fourth quickest at that point so far. So there's Holl. Head down. Powering into this effort. And there's Richardson. An interesting moment there. The track went quiet as the infield music just changed track, and we got to hear the roar of Ev Oliphant cheering on Kate Richardson. So 3:34 at 3,000 metres for Richardson. And there's Holl, still on a very strong ride herself. She's now third quickest overall. And as I said, different pacing strategies. So Holl just looks super strong. No signs of slowing down. And at one point, Richardson looked like she might get close to the catch. But if anything, for me, that's going out. Holl really paced this effort superbly, whereas Richardson starting to come just a little bit unstuck, I would suggest. But I don't think the result's going to change, given how close we are to the finish. So Richardson coming up on the bell. She takes it there, and now that's Holl that we see. So that's Holl's penultimate lap just started. And there comes Richardson into the back straight. Time on the screen is what you see as Richardson is going to appear around that top bend. There she comes, coming up to the line now. 4:48. And we look across to the back straight for Holl, 4:52. So Holl inside the Commonwealth Games B standard with that effort, as is heat winner Richardson, also 4:48 for her inside that B standard.
Couple of minutes of pause just while we reset for the sprinting.
So worth noting there that Richardson was inside the old Scottish record. Obviously Boothman went substantially quicker there, and Holl actually just fractions outside the old Scottish mark of Dixon. But importantly, both ladies notching up a Commonwealth Games B standard. So unofficially, I'm going to give you your qualifiers through to the medal rides later on. So clearly Boothman will go for gold. She was quickest in Heat 2. Meanwhile, Richardson, second quickest with a 4:48. She'll also be in that gold medal ride. And in the bronze medal race will be Jenny Holl, third quickest on paper across the 6 riders, and Arabella Blackburn, the young rider from the northeast. 2 quality matchups ahead in those medal rides later on this evening. So I'm going to leave you there for the time being. We're going to take a short pause in proceedings before we come back for a little bit of sprint action. So stay tuned, grab yourself a cup of tea, and we'll be back in a few minutes' time. So welcome back. Time for some team sprint action.
Could we have heat 2 to the home straight, please? Heat 2 in the open team sprint qualifying. Oscar Parker, Calum McNichol, Struan Ferns. Oscar, Calum and Struan to the home straight, please.
So we're just waiting on a few more riders. But we can see Glasgow Track Racing Club in our shot. Big drive from man 1 there. They come into the back straight. If you're new to team sprinting, it's 3 laps of the track. First rider will lead the first one, then peel off up the banking as we've just seen. Then rider number 2 will take the third and final rider up to the bell before peeling off. And then a final dash for the line for that third rider. From Glasgow Track Racing Club, down the back straight. This is of course their home track. They train on here twice a week. Great club, so if you're interested in track cycling, it's a fantastic place to start. And they stop the clock 56.82 seconds.
So GTRC B, stop the clock there in 56.820.
So if you're watching on the live stream, thanks for joining us. I just want to give a quick shout out to our Scottish cyclocross star Cameron Mason, who's left us a comment to say he's watching live from Spain, where he's on a cyclocross training camp with none other than Tibor Del Grosso and Puck Peterson. So hi guys, thanks for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying these Scottish track champs. 3 days of action. This is just the first on Friday night before 2 full days of racing on Saturday and Sunday here in Glasgow. So we've seen Glasgow Track Racing Club's B team. And let's see if their A team can go any quicker. So 56 seconds was the mark that the B team posted. And here's the A team in this open team sprint. Third rider just coming up at the top of shot. So the first rider on the inside in the start gate, the other 2 being held. A couple of our volunteers. The clock counts down in 3, 2, 1, and away we go. Aggressive start there from man 1. And that's exactly what you want. Their job is to get the team up to speed as quickly as possible. So they need to absolutely power through this first 250 metres and then slightly move out, as we'll see on the home straight, to allow the second rider to punch through, use that slipstream, just rush the gap to get some free speed. And we come up to the bell. Third rider takes over, presses on the pedals, big grimace across the face. And this is the tough job for me, the third man having to do that extra lap. A grueling effort, lactic, building up. Great effort. So clock stopped 48.9. The A team did absolutely go quicker than the B team. So ignore that lower time. 48.9. It was 56 seconds for the B team. There's a hive of activity in the infield, as you can see. We've got riders warming up, non-rollers and turbo trainers. We've got some riders cooling down after their efforts in the IP. And then we've got some riders stepping up onto the track, ready for the female team sprint. So we've got 5 outfits in this one. It's Glasgow University Cycling Club, who are first up onto the boards. Loving that yellow jersey. They'll be preceded by VC Astar Anderside, who have 3 different trios. You've got a C team, a B team, and an A team. So there'll be a little bit of a inter-club rivalry. And then finally, last to go will be a Scottish performance development team. So that's made up of riders on the Scottish and British programs. It's great to see a university team mixing it up here, getting stuck in. Let's see what they can do. Safely away. All shoulders from our leg 1 rider. She's got out to a nice fast start, looks over her shoulder to see where her teammates are. And with a second rider's job to just kind of close up to the wheel, use the slipstream, which she's doing well here. So rider 1 peels up the bank, and they go down the back straight. And there we go, we hear the bell. And the third rider takes over and will empty the tank now. She goes flying down the back straight. All eyes on the clock then. She pushes towards the line. And that's a 102.9. Not bad, just shy of 43 kilometres an hour average speed for that trio from Glasgow University. And that's the mark that's been laid down to everybody else to see if they can beat it.
So an announcement for any youth riders taking part tonight: you must have your gears checked before you compete. You will see gear check going on in track centre at the minute. Ruth is just checking gears just now. So youth riders must have their gears checked before and after they race. All youth riders have gears checked before and after racing. Can I ask riders who are waiting to have their gears checked, guys, everyone who's waiting to have their gears checked, if you could stay out of the corridor marked out by the cones. If you could stay out of the corridor marked by the cones while you're waiting for gear check. Thank you.
So next up, Lorna Lumley, Sharon Robb and Joanne Baxter from VC Astar Anderside. First of 3 teams from this club. Ever present at these Scottish National Track Championships. Let's see how they get on. Oh, the gun's gone, which means they're going to be underway. And it was, I thought it was a double bang there, hence the confusion in my voice, and they've been flagged down on the back straight. Obviously a faulty start there.
So I'm not sure what the starters saw there, but they saw something. So if the riders could just roll back around to the start.
So I'm not sure whether that was a rider error or whether it was just a technical error with the equipment. But they'll reset, whether they'll go immediately or whether they'll slot in somewhere else in the running order for this qualifying round of the female team sprint. We'll see. I'll keep you updated. So, if you've not heard the news yet, the men's FIFA World Cup draw for next summer has taken place. Scotland have been drawn in Group C alongside none other than Brazil. How exciting is that going to be? They're also joined by Morocco and Haiti as well. Anyway, that's enough football chat. Back to the cycling. And it looks like the same trio from VC Astar Anderside. And hopefully they will get away cleanly this time around. Some last instructions from the commissaire. And the 10-second countdown starts. There we go. Away cleanly this time.
Heat 3 to the home straight, please. Heat 3 to the home straight. 135, Janet Tate. 63, Gillian Hurting. 32, Fiona Davidson. Janet, Gillian, and
So our
Fiona.
opening rider really pressing into the pedals. She's got her 2 teammates safely in the wheels. The second rider comes through now. And she's got her teammate glued to the back wheel. Getting the easiest ride as possible until she'll take over as they come across the line in a moment. With 1 lap to go. Rider 2 peels up. And we'll get a final dash for the line over this last lap. There we go then. They stop the clock at 1:08. So they've fallen short of Glasgow University's time. So it's the youngsters who lead the way at the moment after a couple of teams. We'll see if any of the other squads can better their mark that they set. So our next trio are up on track. And what you'll see is the riders get steady. The holders will then often just lift them up a little bit so that they can turn the back wheel and get their cranks and their feet into the position that they want to be in, so that when the gun goes, they can apply maximum power through the pedals and get off to the fastest possible start. So 5 seconds till the gun. And away we go. First rider really trying to get over that gear. Nice aggressive start. And she's got to keep driving and getting her team round into the home straight as quickly as possible before she peels off. What you'll see there is the third rider just laying off the wheels slightly, because she's going to come rushing into that gap into the home straight. Look at that, nicely done. Takes the bell. Coming off the bend now, it's going to be tight. Let's see how that mark compares. No, they miss out. So Glasgow University Cycling Club, as you can see at the bottom with a 102, and it's VC Astar Anderside B team with a 103. So still the youngsters leading the way. So Deborah Ferns, Frances Tini and Zara Mayer. That's your trio for VC Astar Anderside A team. Away they go. Again, big gear from the opening rider. She muscles her way through those opening few revolutions, trying to get up to speed as fast as possible. So 1:02 is the time that they're going to be looking to better, and that will see them into the gold medal ride-off if they can do that. And now it's a good start. Oh, a little flick of one of the foam boards there on the Côte d'Azur. As the second rider comes through, she's weaving all over the track. Shows the effort that's going through the bike. And now it's up to the final rider through the line on around 45 seconds. Down the back straight she goes, powering. You can see the effort. There's almost a slight bounce of the bike. And it's going to be tight up to the line, and they're going to do it. So it's 1 minute flat, 0.35. And they put about 2.5 seconds into the Glasgow University outfit. So, VC Astar Anderside A team through into the gold medal ride. And we'll find out in a second who their opposition will be. It will either be Glasgow University, who currently sits second, or it'll be this Scottish Performance Development Programme team, who you can see now just making their way up onto the apron in that lovely white kit with the sole tyre. And that is, of course, the kit that the riders wore at the last Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. Obviously, the track action actually took place in London, no velodrome in Birmingham. See that lovely kit supplied by Imp Sport. And we see there Lucia Steele, a change of role since the last game. So she was teammate of Iona Moir, who she's holding up there, in 2022 as part of that women's team sprint squad that did so well to firstly qualify and then compete at those games. Lucia now hung up her racing wheels, and she's a coach with the Scottish Cycling Pathway, so working with young riders, mainly across the endurance space, but also in sprint as well. And good friends with Iona Moir, who's had an absolutely fantastic 12 months, culminating in a silver medal at the World Championships as part of the Great Britain trio, which included Emma Finnegan. But now they'll go for a fast time. So off we go. And you can actually see just the difference in pace here. So I'm looking at my sheet and I've got a qualification mark of 48.972 for the Commonwealth Games. And I think that'll be in the back of the minds of this trio. Coming up to the line, what's it going to be? 48.5 inside the Glasgow 2026 qualification mark for Team Scotland. Would you look at that? So Maddie Silcock leading that trio off, and she's a talent transfer athlete, new to cycling, and what a ride. Brilliant opening lap. Ellie Stone, who was a pilot at the last Commie Games, working with Aileen McGlynn. And then Iona Moir, who I mentioned just before they got underway. Fabulous stuff. That's our 6th qualification mark of the evening already. And we're only 4 events in. So another slight pause in the action for a little while. And I will be back with you shortly. So just a quick note to let you know that this break in proceeding will last about 20 minutes. So we're looking at an 8:05 p.m. Restart in the action. Just a little break now, and then we'll be back with the youth team sprints before the open sprint. Some masters pursuiting. Plenty of other races to look forward to. So we'll leave it there. Grab yourselves a snack, a cup of tea. See you back here at 8:05. Here we go then. Our next action on the track, the youth team sprints. These aren't Scottish Championship races as such, but a great opportunity for some of our young riders to show what they can do. And this looks like a pretty rapid start from these young open riders. Mika Miles taking up the charge for Edinburgh, and look at those arms go. He's powering through the back straight. It's Kai Parker, I believe, who's rounding out this effort for the team. 50.748. That's a really good time. Now, there were youth A's there. So Ezra Undiuni, Mika Miles and Kai Parker. Great work. So thanks for the love on YouTube. Keep your comments coming in if you are watching. And let us know what's been your ride of the evening so far. As I said, I think 6 Commonwealth Games qualification marks. We've had a Scottish record for Erin Boothman in that female 4K IP. And then just most recently, the female team sprint. That Scottish Pathway trio going inside that mark. And now we've got some more young females. This is a Youth B outfit. Mary Nicholson, I believe, leading them off.
Calum, David and Liam to the home straight now, please.
And then we've got Femke McKenna and Matti Jackson as well. Come up to the line, 54.792. Another nice ride. These youth riders really showing us how it's done tonight. So a third and final youth team sprint squad up on the boards now. So by my money, it's Kaylin Edmonds, David Imrie and Liam Phillips. Away they go. It's great to see these youth riders get in a slot as part of the senior Scottish National Track Champs. And I can hear some encouragement from some of the folk in the infield. We've got the young Johnson Jets rider coming off the final bend up to the line. 57.3. Good stuff.
Okay, so moving on. Next up, the Open IP Finals. First up, the bronze medal ride, which will be contested by on the home straight, 37, Matti, Dobbins, and on the back straight.
So who wants to see some medal ride-offs? I certainly do, and it's time for the Open Individual Pursuit bronze medal rides. Start gates coming back out, so they haven't had too long of these riders to kind of recover from a big effort in qualifying to secure a medal ride. So just some last bike checks from the commissaires. And then we'll be away. So I can see Ben Marsh. He'll start in the back straight. The man from Beeston CC. He's wearing a black skin suit tonight. And then in the home straight, it's going to be Matti Dobbins, who rides for Edinburgh Bike Fit. Similarly, we saw him in a all black skin suit in qualifying. I'm sure he'll be in the same attire for this bronze medal ride. So Sophie Sweeney giving a shout out to Calum Edmonds there in that last youth race. I think whether you're watching at home or here at the Sir Chris Hoy Velodrome, the encouragement and support is much appreciated by all of our riders. So as we see up on track now, Dobbins versus Marsh. Underway, first time. Remember, this is the bronze medal ride-off in the open individual pursuit. 4 kilometres, 16 laps of the track. And it's Dobbins who's off the quickest, just fractionally up on Marsh at the first checkpoint. That goes out to point 2. So there you see Dobbins in the back straight and Marsh in the home straight. And they're coming up to put down a 1,000 metre mark. So 1:11 for Dobbins with Marsh just 0.7 back. And remember, in qualifying, Dobbins did go quicker than Marsh. So based on that, you'd be looking at Dobbins as the favourite. But Marsh will not go down without a fight. That's for sure. The young rider's been progressing really well over the last couple of years. It was an impressive ride in qualifying to make this bronze medal matchup. But at the moment, it is the more experienced man in Ben Marsh. And Matti Dobbins, who's leading the way. And he's going to come up to the halfway mark. So 2:15.5. And Marsh is 2 seconds back. But this isn't over by any means. As you can see, Dobbins still, whilst making inroads, he's not taking that much time out of Marsh. He's certainly not in the same straight yet. The Marsh looking strong, but Dobbins is the quickest on track at the moment. And that gap is just gradually creeping out, so it's at 2.8 seconds now. So if you're struggling to ID them, Marsh in the white helmet, Dobbins in this black helmet with the red stripe, which matches the red bike that he sat on top of. So 3,000 metres, 3:19.989 is the time for Dobbins. But he can't see Ben Marsh just yet. Marsh is still there. Oh, maybe now he can. For the first time, he gets a little look. He won't quite have the slipstream effect yet, but he can see his opponent, who actually does now, for the first time, look like he's tiring a little bit. And he's fallen to just 4.9 seconds behind now. So Dobbins is pouring it on, and he's starting to look like he could catch Marsh here. The youngster starting to tire. You can see he's rocking and rolling a little bit, and it's no real surprise. He's made a big effort in qualifying just over an hour ago, and he's having to go again here. Both riders have heard the bell, and it's going to be Dobbins first. He won't make the catch, but he will take the bronze medal. These Scottish Championships, 4:23.9. And Marsh stops the clock in 4:30.595. Great ride from both of those two men. And we're watching some classy bike riders here, but just a comment from Biorama on YouTube saying they're watching from Germany. The coverage is a privilege, and thank you for putting it together. It's so good to see the spectrum of talent from riders of all age groups. Well, look, we're glad to be able to provide a live stream for you. I'm glad you're enjoying the coverage. Thanks for joining us this evening. Remember, you'll be able to watch again Saturday afternoon and evening, and the same on Sunday for those final sessions. We've got some great racing coming up over the next couple of days. Lots of bunch action, some sprinting, some keying. So yeah, if you've got access to a TV and the internet over the weekend, be sure to tune in. So, here we go then. Who is going to win gold and who is going to have to settle for silver? Tim Shoreman on the left of shot in that lime green skin suit. And on the right hand side, starting in the back straight, Logan Maclean in the navy blue. Nothing to really split them in qualifying. But they both set remarkable Commonwealth Games A standards. So they were looking for inside 4:16, which they both did in qualifying. Now that effort is going to have taken a lot out of them, I think. Huge rides. So we'll see who has the staying power to go again just over an hour later. And at the moment, it's Shoreman who has certainly started the quickest. He's up by over a second on Maclean already. And you can see the little funny leg movements there. That's him just shuffling on the saddle, trying to get comfortable, trying to stay as aero as possible. And as I mentioned in qualifying, he's a big man, is Shoreman, so much power. But that means he needs to really think about his position and getting tucked right down, breaking as little wind as possible, whereas Logan at the other end of the spectrum, more diminutive figure, shorter in stature, so it's easier for him to keep a low profile, keep tight, which means the watts required are less for that man. So that gap continues to go out. It's over 2 seconds now that Shoreman leads. So it's a fast start by the big man from the northeast of Scotland. Or should I say that's where he's based these days. Whereas Maclean, he's a little bit closer to this velodrome. Lives in Stirling, in the Central Belt, and he's through here in Glasgow twice a week training. So 2:10 is Shoreman's time as he passes through the halfway mark. Logan 3 seconds back on that. And that 2:10 is pretty similar, I think, to what Shoreman went through the halfway mark in qualifying in. So let's see what kind of a time he can muster. He's got to hold on to this effort, and as we know, I certainly don't know from personal experience, but what I've heard is the pursuit has really started to bite towards the tail end, and that's not surprising, is it? They're trying to hold maximum power and speed for 16 laps of the track. Both men did such an amazing job in qualifying, and now they're going for gold and the Scottish title, and it looks like it's going to be heading to Shoreman. As he starts to close in on Maclean, the gap's out to some 5 seconds now as they're through 3/4 distance. Don't think the catch will happen. Logan certainly won't want it to happen. And it'll be interesting to see how close Shoreman can get to his qualifying mark. Or can he even go quicker? We're about to find out. He hits the bell. 3:58. Maclean still looks really strong. Big kudos to that man. Commie's qualifier in the bag. But it's all eyes on Shoreman. He comes up to the line. 4:14.3. He goes quicker, I believe, than he did in qualifying. And he takes the gold medal, Scottish champion. And he'll be pulling on those Scottish champion stripes. He'll have the privilege of wearing those for the next 12 months as national champion in the 4K open individual pursuit. So 4:20 was Logan's time. Remember, he just dipped inside 4:16 in qualifying. So he's backed that up pretty well. But it's Shoreman who takes the plaudits. 4:14.392. That's his time. 56 kilometers an hour he's held there for that 4K distance. Tremendous stuff.
So we're just going to do a very quick check of the gates. You'll see the commissars taking the bikes out. There's nothing to worry about. We just want to make sure everything's working okay.
I know one man who's watching on at home is our president, Sandy Gilchrist. And I was chatting to him earlier in the week and he said couldn't be here tonight but was very much looking forward to watching the live streams. He was very excited about the prospects of some of our riders in these individual pursuits. He thought there was going to be Commonwealth Games marks and a potential Scottish record in the female event. And he was right, wasn't he? Sandy, part of the Team Scotland staffing structure at the last few Commonwealth Games, supporting our riders with mechanical assistance and just a calming presence in the infield. And that's what you need when you're at a major international games. Someone with plenty of experience and just a steady head on the shoulders to guide you through. So the bronze medal ride-off now in the female individual pursuit. On the left of shot, we can see Jenny Holl in that Loughborough Lightning kit. And on the right, just making her way up onto the track, is Arabella Blackburn. Little delay while the officials ensure the starting gate was functioning as it should. It's like Logan in the last race. Jenny is another Stirling native. Come up through the Scottish Cycling and GB system. Big pull on the bars there from Holl. And on the far side, Blackburn getting underway. So it's Blackburn who leads at the first mark. So, as I mentioned, Jenny from Stirling came through Wallace Warriors and Stirling Bike Club, whereas Arabella was part of D-Side Thistle for a number of years, and she's now progressed on and is racing for Shibden Apex at the moment. But at the turn of the year, she'll join Hansling Alba, the UCI women's team based in Scotland, run by Bob and Elaine Lyons. They're doing a fantastic job of giving our young female riders a platform to take their cycling to the very top. And we've already seen that with Lauren Dixon, who until this evening held the Scottish record in this event, has now progressed on to sign for World Tour outfit FDJ Suez after just 1 year of racing at the top level. So a super quick learning curve, and that wouldn't have happened without that Alba team. So it's Arabella who has started quickest. But what we know from qualifying is that Jenny is a very experienced rider, and she knows how to pace an effort. And we saw her come back really strongly in the final K a couple of hours ago. And I would suspect she will do something similar here. And as I say that, we're at 1,500 meters, and Holl has now taken the lead. And that shot gives you a really clear indication of where the two riders are. Obviously opposite sides of the track. But there's only half a wheel in it at the moment. As I say that, it stretches out to closer to half a second. Holl leading. And she's at 2:30. So 2:30 through halfway. Yeah, and that gap's going out now, isn't it? It's a second. And is the youngster Blackburn paying for that fast start? Or is it just that Holl is a master tactician and knows how to pace their effort? So Holl continuing to pour it on. You can see her coming off the bend, down the straight. And there's Blackburn. As I mentioned earlier, Blackburn can do it all. Cyclocross, road, track, you name it, she can do it. But this battle is going Jenny Holl's way, 3:42 at 3,000 meters. She's 2.5 seconds up on her young rival. And she continues to pour it on, head down, really tucking and pressing on the pedals. She means business, that is for sure. So a reminder, Holl squeezed inside the 4:53.4 Commonwealth Games B standard with her ride, and she's through the bell in 4:37 this time. So there's your live time, and it's going to be just outside, so 4:56 for Jenny, and Arabella just a couple of seconds back. She comes across the line in 4:58.5. So that was billed as the bronze medal ride. But there might be a little bit of reshuffling, because the news just filtering through to me is Erin Boothman is a non-starter in this gold medal contest. Feeling a little bit unwell after her outstanding performance in qualifying. She not only topped the bill, but she also broke the Scottish record by over 10 seconds. And bagged herself a Commonwealth Games A standard. So we can see Kate Richardson there from Hansling Alba Development Road team. And she is going to start in the back straight. And it will be an absolute race against the clock. So obviously in this event, the clock is important, but you're usually racing the person on the other side of the track. But for Richardson, she'll go it alone, so no Boothman, a non-starter in the final. We wish her well, taken a little unwell. I don't know whether it's a little bit of illness or whether she just went so deep in that qualifying ride that she's dug herself a hole. I'm sure we'll find out in due course. But for now, let's focus on Kate Richardson. She's going in this gold medal ride. Underway cleanly.
So as Kate Richardson rolls around, she is confirmed as the gold medal winner and your new Scottish champion.
Well, so we're hearing that Kate is just going to roll around the track. She doesn't have any competition. So, by virtue of starting the race, she is awarded the gold medal. And I think that just shows, ladies and gents, how hard our riders went in qualifying. I think the thing on their mind were those qualifying marks for the Commonwealth Games. And that was job done for them all. And a nice byproduct of that for Kate Richardson is she is the Scottish champion. So she will take the gold, with Erin not starting.
Okay,
so congratulations to Kate.
Sprint gold silver final on the Holl Straight GTRC A, which will consist of 46 Struan Ferns, 94 Calum Nickel, 124 Isaac Small, Struan, Calum, Isaac to the home straight please, and on the back straight GTRC B, consisting of 12 Ian Barton, 11 Jim Barr, 108 Tom Nicholson, Ian, Jim, Tom to the back straight now please.
So next up on the track will be the open team sprint finals. For whatever reason, there seems to be a few teething issues with the start gate on the back straight. We'd rather take a little bit longer, just make sure everything's working as it should be and the riders are comfortable so they can put out their best possible effort. Because ultimately this is a gold medal ride-off between the two teams from Glasgow Track Racing Club. So underway then. And it's the A team who lead by some margin. .20 at 250. And they're going to make the catch here, I think. This is remarkable. Huge effort. So that final rider comes flying round. Can he get over the top through this last bend? Yes, he can. Fantastic stuff. What a ride. 47.5. The B team will finish it off.
So GTRC A are the first.
It's a 56.2. So Glasgow Track Racing Club, Scottish champions. The silver medal going back to that club too. Great stuff. And Glasgow Track Racing Club based here at the Sir Chris Hoy Velodrome. And if you want to get into a bit of track cycling, particularly the sprints, get in touch with that club. Have a wide range of abilities. Really welcoming.
Next up, the bronze medal ride in the female team sprint.
So club for anyone, but already they've developed some top talent. Like Sir Lyle Craig progressing on to the GB programme. So yeah, you find them on all the usual social media channels. If you're inspired by what you're seeing and you want to give it a go, then get in touch with Glasgow Track Racing Club. So we switch our attention to the female team sprint now. On the left-hand side, starting in the home straight, are the trio from Glasgow University. And then on the back straight, it's going to be VC Astar Anderside. That's going to be their B team. Their A team will go in the gold medal ride in just a few minutes' time. So we've got the youngsters in the yellow versus their more experienced counterparts in the blue. So who will prevail, youth or experience? We're about to find out, aren't we? Away we go. We're just about safely away. So the Astar Anderside squad, obviously a bit more experience at this level, whereas the university students from Glasgow, a little bit of a wobbly start, but they've picked up the pace and they lead, but only just by 0.1. So this is going to be a great battle. Here comes Astar Anderside. And now the camera pans. Oh no, back we come with Astar Anderside. And it's going to be tight. And it's flipped on its head. Anderside lead by 0.2. Can the youngsters from Glasgow University bring it back? It's going to be oh so close. And I'm looking off the top bend. And it's the university trio who've pulled it back. They've pulled it out the bag. It's bronze for the Glasgow University students. A 1:02 clock in, which I think was exactly the same as they did in qualifying. Astar Anderside just a second back, 1:03. That was a great matchup. Lead changing hands twice through those 3 laps. Well done to all 6 ladies in that one. So bronze to the university students. And now we're going to see who takes gold and who takes silver with this gold medal ride off. So as in that bronze medal ride off, it's going to be Astar Anderside starting in the back straight, their A team this time. And then it's going to be the fastest qualifiers. It's going to be the Scottish cycling trio who start from the home straight. And if you weren't with us earlier on, the team sprint squad from Scottish Cycling's performance pathway, they stopped the clock in 48.590, which is a new Scottish record and also a qualifying time for the Commonwealth Games. So a pretty successful qualifying round. Now let's see if they can go any quicker. So Ryan Lakewood there, the Scottish Cycling sprint coach, just making sure Matti is really nice and tight in her pedals. Don't want her pulling her foot out or anything like that as she gets underway. So Maddie Silcock, she has only recently taken up cycling. Came on a talent ID day. It was obvious she had bags of raw potential and power. So she's slotted into that lead-out role, with Ellie Stone taking up the second leg. And then, I beg your pardon, I think it's going to be Iona Moir. It is Iona Moir on 2. And Ellie Stone just getting in position now. She's going to take the team round the final lap of the track. So the gold medal ride-off. Scotland PD versus VC Astar Anderside. Away we go, big pull from the Scottish trio. Maddie Silcock powering around the curve. She's pulled out a nice gap already, which will allow Moir to slingshot down the home straight, which she does. Moir, fantastic 2025 already with a silver medal at the World Champs in this event. She's already having to flick the arm out to tell her teammate that they're going to pass round the outside of the Astar Anderside trio. And unfortunately, that's going to really hamper any chance of a quick time, I think. But still, that Scotland team racing to gold. 49.35. And I have to say, without that really wide overtake, I think they'd have gone even quicker than they did earlier on. Nonetheless, Scottish record in qualifying for the Scottish Performance Development Team, made up of Maddie Silcock, Ellie Stone and Iona Moir. They hit the Commonwealth Games qualifying mark and they broke that Scottish record. So wonderful stuff. They bag gold in the final, with VC Astar Anderside A team taking home the silver. Bronze to the Glasgow University trio. And unfortunately, that concludes this evening's action. Don't know about you, but what a session. 6 Commonwealth Games qualifying marks, 2 Scottish records, and a number of new Scottish champions. I'd say that's a pretty successful evening if you ask me. So just a little recap before we go. Couple of standout performances, I'd say. So firstly, in the women's 4-kilometre individual pursuit, which we saw Kate Richardson take gold in, but in qualifying it was Erin Boothman who absolutely obliterated the Scottish record, which stood at 4:52.295. Erin went 4:34, so some 18 seconds lopped off the old Scottish record. It is a new record. Finally, we have parity between the females and the males, with that distance being extended from 3K to 4K. So we'd expect that record to come down, but nobody would have expected a 4:34 from Boothman. Huge, huge mark. Scottish national record, and inside the Commonwealth Games A standard. So she can be delighted with her efforts. And then we also saw, we've just seen them take gold, but the Scotland female team sprint squad stopped the clock at 48.590 in qualifying, which was also a new Scottish record and a qualifying time for the Glasgow Games next summer. And then amongst that, a smattering of other qualifying marks. Kate Richardson, as I mentioned, a B standard in the IP, along with Jenny Holl as well. And then in the open category, Logan Maclean, 4:15.8. He hit that mark, that A standard in qualifying, which was then bettered by Tim Shoreman, 4:14. And that pairing then did battle for the gold medal in the Open IP, which went the way of Shoreman. He went even quicker, 4:13 in the final. So both of those men bagging A standards. And that means that for Logan, he has now done everything required to be nominated for selection. Not a guaranteed spot by any means. There's only so many places on the Commonwealth Games Scotland team for Glasgow 2026, but there's a certain set of criteria that you have to hit to even be considered. And Logan has now put his name into the hat, as it were, giving himself a chance of being selected. So well done to that man. Shoreman, meanwhile, he's also now got himself a standard, so he will go on from here to some other UCI events, no doubt, and see if he can bag himself a further qualification mark and give himself a shot of making the team for next summer. And if you missed it earlier in the week, we were delighted to announce the first 3 riders who have been named on the Team Scotland squad for Glasgow 2026. And they were none other than Katie Archibald, world champion again back in October. So no surprise to see her on the team sheet. She'll go to Glasgow with high hopes of success across a number of events, I'm sure. She'll be joined in the endurance lineup by Mark Stewart. Again, on the podium at the World Champs, he took a silver in the Madison alongside Josh Tarling. He's been balancing a successful road and track career for a number of years now. I have fond memories of seeing him win gold on the Gold Coast in 2018. So we'll see what he can do on home boards. And then finally, last but not least, Lauren Bell. Again, another sprinter who's enjoyed a fine year. She's set numerous qualifying marks and then went on to secure a top 10 finish in the Keirin at the World Championships. So rightly earning her spot on the team. So well done to that trio. And we look forward to seeing who else will join them. We will hopefully have some paracyclists on the team. And that will be confirmed at the turn of the year in January, before the rest of the team are announced in May. So a few months yet to hit the required qualifying marks, and we'll see how many names make it onto the team. And if you just think about the strength in depth that Scotland could have, got the likes of Michael Gill, Scottish record holder in the individual pursuit. Nia Evans has obviously had multiple games where she's been successful for both Scotland and Great Britain. She's an established name now on the endurance side of things. We've seen Iona Moir and Erin Boothman tonight, who've only strengthened their cases. Sprinters, Pete Mitchell, Lyle Craig, Ellie Stone, who we've also seen. They've also got qualifying marks to their name, so they'll be looking to put forward their case in coming competitions, giving the best possible account of themselves and hoping that they've done enough to get themselves, I would say, a seat on the plane, but we're not travelling very far for these next games, are we? So
Okay, folks, after a fantastic night,
more likely a seat on the bus.
to hand out some medals. If you can all come down, if you're not cooling down, if you can all come to track centre next to the Cycling World Championships podium, we will hand out some medals.
So we're just getting geared up for some podium presentations now. You can see the infield is still a hive of activity. You've got riders just spinning their legs, cooling down after their efforts. I think what you'll see is most of these riders, if not all of them, will be in action again across the weekend. We've obviously got an action-packed schedule both Saturday and Sunday with more sprint action, bit more pursuiting, and some most likely frenetic bunch racing on the endurance side of things.
Okay, folks, it's obviously particularly important that you come and join us if you're a medalist. And the people you are competing with.
So there we can see that lovely World Championship podium that was used in 2023.
Recorded history. Matti Dobbins is going to be the first one to turn up for something.
And we can see Colin Edgar, Scottish cycling board member. He's on the mic in infield, and he takes on that role regularly at Friday Night Chat League. It's a great supporter of the track scene. Thank you, Colin. And we can see our official Scottish cycling photographer for this evening, Andrew Leinster. If you haven't seen Andrew's work, get yourself onto Instagram, Andrew Leinster, a fantastic young photographer.
Thanks everyone for racing this evening and sticking around for prize giving. We're going to start with the youth team sprint. I believe we've only got 2 of the team sprinters still in the building, but they did win, so please come forward. Sorry, I've not got your names in front of me and I'm terrible at remembering them.
So this is the presentation for that youth team sprint. Stepping onto the podium, Ezra Unduni, Kai Parker. Micah Miles has already had to make an early exit, I think. Yeah, well done to those lads. Some nice chocolates to keep them going across the weekend. A bit of instant energy. And now we move on to the open 4 kilometre individual pursuit podium. Matti Dobbins first up, Edinburgh Bike Fit. He takes bronze. And then it's silver for Logan Maclean.
And our first Scottish national champion of the evening, Tim Shoreman, Wheelbase Cabtech Castelli.
And representing Wheelbase Cabtech Castelli, it's your new Scottish pursuit champion in the open category, Tim Shoreman. Fantastic ride from Tim, Logan and Matti. As I mentioned earlier, Tim and Logan both hitting the Commonwealth Games A standard.
In the female 4 kilometre individual pursuit, in 3rd place, Jenny Holl from Blackburn Lightning.
So now we move on to the female equivalent. Stepping up for bronze, it's Stirling's Jenny Holl.
Was Erin Boothman riding for Liverlula Jaco Continental. And our new female
Silver
individual pursuit champion,
going to Erin Boothman.
Richardson from Hansling Alba Development Road Team.
I think has had to head home already. And on the top step, Kate Richardson, Hansling Alba Development Road Team. She's all smiles, Scottish champion. Yeah, and up Jenny goes to join her on that top step. Absolutely stacked female lineup in that IP.
In the open team sprint, in 2nd place, Glasgow Track Racing Club B team, made up of Ian Barton, Jim Barr and Tom Hickelson.
So Glasgow Track Racing Club B team stepping up to collect their silver medals in the open team sprint. Tom Nicholson, Ian Barton and Jim Barr.
Also Glasgow Track Racing Club A team, made up of Struan Ferns, Calum McNichol and Isaac Small.
And then we'll see Isaac Small, Calum McNichol and Struan Ferns. Glasgow Track Racing Club A team. And they head up onto the podium. Looks like Oscar Parker as well. I assume rode in qualifying. So 4 from Glasgow Track Racing Club A team, donning gold medals. Successful evening for those riders based at the Sir Chris Hoy Velodrome. And the final podium for the evening is the female team sprint.
Was Glasgow University Cycling Club, made up of Molly Evans, Kira Stoney and Yasmin McPhail.
So Glasgow University Cycling Club.
Winning the silver medal was VC Astar Anderside, made up of Deborah Ferns, Francis Tierney and Sarah May.
So VC Astar Anderside, that's their A team, stepping up for silver.
And our new Scottish national team sprint champions were the team of Madeline Silcock, Iona Moir and Ellie Stone, the Scotland Performance Development team.
And coming up to collect their gold medals, it's the Scottish Performance Development team, Maddie Silcock, Iona Moir and Ellie Stone. Congratulations all round. Lots of handshakes. It's great to see some brilliant sportsmanship. So yeah, collecting their gold medals, a Scottish record and a Commonwealth Games qualifying mark are that Scotland trio. Ellie on the left, Maddie and Iona on the right.
Congratulations to all our medalists for this evening. Thanks for some fantastic racing.
So yeah, well done to all the medalists this evening.
Bright and early tomorrow morning.
And thank you very much for joining us if you've been watching at home. We will see you again tomorrow. There's some qualification action in the morning and then the live stream will be back in the afternoon. So you'll be able to watch all the final action, both Saturday and Sunday. So please come back, join us then. Thank you and good night.